Hey, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to another deck profile on the channel. Today we're here with
Joseph.
And what did you do? What did you do? What did you do to get this amazing mat?
I went to a regional and I got 5th place.
5th place, first top, right?
So 7-1, and yep, my first top.
Congratulations!
Awesome.
Yeah. So,
Thank you.
what did you play to get this top?
Pure Vanquish Soul.
Pure Vanquish Soul.
It does have a small cash package, but it's pretty much just Vanquish Soul.
So why are you playing Vanquish Soul? Are you just like super comfortable with it? Did you feel like it's good into the meta?
It's terrible into the meta. It loses out to Detonator really hard. It loses out to Malice's non-target banishes really hard. But it's just a deck that I really like. I've been passionate about it. I've been playing it for a long time, and I'm just super comfortable with it. And it's a deck that it makes you have to be a better player because it's almost like you're playing at a disadvantage, really. So
gotcha.
I like playing it just for that aspect. That I feel like it just makes me better at the game. Learning more interactions as I play it.
Gotcha. Yeah, there's nothing scarier than a player who knows his rogue deck. So let's go ahead and get straight onto the cards.
Heart and Soul of deck. You got 3 of the Vanquish Soul Rosin.
Beautiful Rosin.
You need to see him. If you don't see him, you're just going to lose the game. You have to get to him somehow. You could try stalling as much as you want, but this needs to happen if you want to win. It's really hard to play without him, so you got to play 3 of them.
Understandable.
2 Mad Love. She is not as good of a starter, but she does search the trap, which is really good. She has utility because she can non-target. Pretty much every Vanquish Soul is non-target. Non-target, make your monster lose 500, or non-target, bounce a monster on the field with the lowest defense. If you time it just right, you can really get a lot of advantage with it.
Cool.
2 Pantera. A lot of decks only play 1 Mad Love, 1 Pantera. I like playing 2 of each just because I do play Small World, and sometimes you need them as the bridge to get to something else, usually the Rosin. So you don't want to just be stuck with 1 in your hand and be like, oh, I can't really use this to bridge anymore. So I like to play at least 2. And on top of that, you don't want too many of the big monsters. Just because the big names need to bounce something smaller to get on the field, so sometimes you break by just drawing too many of the big names and none of the small ones, so it gives you another chance, and it's a special summon.
Very cool.
2 Xiaolong, probably the second best Vanquish Soul monster in my opinion. It's a little hard to get the search off every turn because you need 2 fires, but it does have a 1 fire non-target change battle position, which is definitely a handy utility, and it has the ability to special summon itself, so it's really useful in that aspect as well.
Cool.
2 Heavy Border. Just a really good card. You get an extra draw every turn by revealing a dark, or it's a time card, burn 15. I've actually won games by just burning every single turn, and you just 1,500 points of damage is amazing. So
it shortens the clock very quickly.
Really strong. 2 Caesar. He's the boss monster. The hardest effect to get off, but you have to have all 3 attributes to non-target pop, but if you line it up right, you have all 3, it's a non-target pop on every turn. Otherwise, you can make him unaffected by your opponent's activated effects by revealing 1 Earth, which is also really strong. So,
very cool.
Like those numbers. I like those numbers a lot.
Yeah. Plus, you want to have a decent number of attributes to get the effects off, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You don't want to just get stuck with a lot of spells and traps in your hands, so it's a high monster count build for sure. 3 Fenrir. He's an honorary Vanquish Soul. He's an Earth. He can search another Earth, and he can search the Fire. So he gets you attributes that you need. He also just kind of baits out interactions, and he's also like a really good way to extend if you're going second. This deck doesn't do a lot going second, so this kind of helps you push.
I have done a Vanquish Soul deck profile on the channel before, and the person said, this was like when it came out, that you need to play engines that get you multiple attributes, and Fenrir represents 2 attributes with itself and Rosin. Or no, not Rosin, Reinhardt.
Yep. Yeah. If there was a dark, I would play that. If there was a dark Kashtira monster, I would play that just for the ability to get it. Yeah. Even if it wasn't useful, I would still play it just so I can get to it.
Fair enough.
And the 1 of, I see him all the time. It's unfortunate. I always draw him. I don't like it.
But at least it does give you a fire to reveal.
Yeah, at least it's fire. probably the reason why I did so good is this guy. I didn't realize at first how good this was against Ryziel, but once I realized a lot of people are playing Fiendsmith, I figured at least this will stop the Fiendsmith from going off. But ultimately what I realized is all the extenders in the Ryziel engine need a 4 on field or in grave, and if they get banished and you can take the 4s off the field, they can't extend past that. So this card's really good against that. Terrible against Malice, unfortunately, but it's an easy side-out card against that matchup.
Yeah, and you're not seeing a ton of Malice even now. Like, Ryziel is far and away the more popular deck, so if you lose the random Malice matchups, I mean, I think you take that.
Yeah.
And sometimes you don't even lose it, because not even Malice sometimes is playing Shifter, sometimes they're not.
A lot of them don't main deck it. They can definitely side deck it, but I don't think a lot of them are main decking it. Two of the bestials, they're just too good this format. There's a lot of light and dark monsters, especially with the Fiendsmith package going around. Everybody's kind of playing it right now. It's really hot, so this can stop them somewhat. And then this helps kind of bait out the interaction with the detonator and the cross, so that helps there a lot.
Gotcha.
I played 2 of these in the main deck just because, I mean, against the Fiendsmith engine, if I do see it against that, you just do it on the Lurie, so at least you're getting a 1-for-1, and if they do recur the Engraver back, it's a +1. It's not really going to stop them or like shut them down if you're playing against it, but against Malice, it will really stump them really hard. It'll really limit their play, and I didn't want to just like get blown out by Malice if I saw it, so this was just a chance for me to play against them, but I never used it against a Malice player once. I actually didn't play any Malice the whole day.
Gotcha.
But it was a Earth, and I did reveal it in my hand a few times to activate Borger and Caesar, so it came in handy. That's why I played this over Full Ross or Perulia, just because it was an Earth.
It's an attribute, yeah. Fair enough.
2 Ash and then 2 Bell. I would play 3 of each because I think they're both actually really good. I feel like this is kind of a little bit better than this right now, this format, just because there's a lot of things that manipulate the grave, and I feel like this has a lot more utility than this. I feel like this doesn't really stop much anymore, where this kind of like saves you more than this will, especially in the Malice matchup. This is a lot more valuable in the Malice matchup than this one. So
yeah, for sure.
I like the 2 of though. It's once again just it's attributes and it's a way to interact on your opponent's turn.
Fair enough.
The only spice I played were I played 1 Doggeran and 1 of the Karkura. This is my way to out Detonator. I don't really have a lot of good ways to play through full Ryziel board, so if they don't set up the Twins of the Eclipse, this will just take it out permanently and they won't be able to recur it. And then this I played 1 of because I thought it was better against the Malice matchup. Usually if they're on your turn, they do all their effects when they summon. If you just tribute off 2, 3, maybe even 4 monsters that all burn their effects, this is just a huge beat stick, and then it also special summons 1 back, so it takes a name out of their graveyard and stops them from recurring it, hopefully. And then I also play Small World, so that's why I play 2 different ones, because you can use these as bridge targets, or you can bridge into them through other ways. So that's why I played 1 of each.
This is like the Small World deck.
Yep, it's amazing. Small World can bridge into almost anything. Stake Your Soul, play 3 of them. It is the best Vanquish Soul, non-Vanquish Soul card in the deck. It's very unfortunate, but it is not a Vanquish Soul card, so you cannot search it with Mad Love. Very unfortunate, but it's still a really good card. If you see it in your opening hand, it helps you push through. It's a good starter to have, so you don't have to dedicate your normal summon right away. So just an amazing card. And then one thing is, sometimes it does help with the utility of it bounces back the monster in the end phase. Most people use the monster in their turn, but if you need that attribute in your hand, you just leave it on field, it comes back to your hand. So it's a little more utility that way too.
Very cool.
2 Small Worlds, probably my second favorite spell in the deck besides the Stake Your Soul, just because, like I said, everything has a way to bridge into something else, including the side deck cards. This just makes it a lot more consistent. The big problem this deck has is consistency. I would say probably 3 games I bricked really hard to where I couldn't even play out of the whole day, which isn't terrible because usually you brick a lot more than that. So I think Small World was a huge help, and definitely glad I played 2. I don't think 3 would be a good idea just because it gets a little cloggy.
Fair enough. Can't Small World with Small World.
Yeah, if it wasn't a once per turn, I would play 3. If it wasn't a once per turn, I would definitely play 3, but
Yeah.
it is a 1. The one of Rhoda, Search Out the Rosin. One of Trip Attack. This is just such a really good card. Everybody's doing something on everyone's turn, so it's almost always live. It's almost kind of a necessity to play at least 1. One Pot of Desires. This deck has a little bit of an issue with resources. To do your things, you need to have attributes in hand, and sometimes you might be short an attribute. Sometimes you might just need 1 more dark or 1 more earth, and sometimes this gets you to that name or that attribute that you need to kind of push for the game. I've never regretted playing it. A lot of times it's an ash bait too, so you just activate it first. Hopefully it gets ashed, and then you normal summon Rosin. A lot of people who know the deck know to hold the ash for the Rosin, but this is just very enticing, so it helps out.
Did you ever get punished by the Banish 10? Like you never banished like both Caesar or both Burger?
I banished 2 of my Rosin, but because I had 1 left, I was still able to play. But had I banished all 3, I probably would have scooped right there, because there's really no way I can play without at least 1, so you got to have 1 to recur.
Fair enough.
But I did end up winning that game, and it did work out in the end. And it did get ash too, but
It works,
I still was able to play. And then probably my favorite one of Tech, it was kind of a joke to play it at first. It was kind of like a meme. I was thinking like Vanquish Soul, it's a fighting game. Here goes enemy controller. But it works really well. It saves you.
Hasn't this won you like several games?
It has won me a lot of games. I've won games with just these 2 right here. I've got nibbed on my turn, and I took their token, or I took their monster, the Nibiru, and then I attacked, and then I used this to change the token to attack and attack for game. Like, that was just such a clean play, and it worked out really well. Econ just being a quick play, being able to change position, attack to defense or defense to attack, and then the ability to tribute something off and steal something. Like, it's just such a good card. I would almost want to play 2, but I just feel like if I played 41, I would brick a lot more. So I don't want to play 41. I don't know what I could cut for it. So, but I like it. I like it a lot.
Fair enough.
It's good at 1. You see it when you need it. Last but not least, Snow Devil. This is kind of your trump card.
This has like killed me like 5 times when I played you.
If you need to get a quick burn, it's always going to burn at least for a little bit, as long as you have an attribute, so you can win in time with it. It can blow up the entire field. It can make your Vanquish Soul monsters indestructible by card effect, yours and your opponent's. So you can't just give me like a Mimighoul Dragon and flip it, because my monsters are still indestructible my turn. And it's not just the ones I currently control, it's all Vanquish Soul monsters in my control for the rest of the turn. So it's not current. If I summon Caesar out after I activate this, he is also under this umbrella, and he gets protected as well. So just the best card. It gets baited out a lot, but I mean, the value you get off of it is too much. So
yeah, fair enough.
Gotta play it. Extra?
Yeah.
Extra.
Let's go with that.
Let's start with 3 of the Rock of the Vanquish. Also not a Vanquish Soul card, funny enough.
Vanquisher, not Vanquish Soul,
and then, he's just, you gotta play 3. You don't want to get punished by playing 2. Unicorn can really mess you up, so just play 3. You have a lot of room in the extra deck anyway, so it's not like you're hurting for space, so definitely playing 3. One of the fire and one of the dark. You play fire, you play dark. I used to play 1 earth, but not a lot of people play earths these days, so it's kind of not worth it. But these help out in a grind game when you're getting really low on resources and you're both kind of just top decking. If you can make one of these steal something, maybe make SP, maybe make something else. It's just a lot of utility. Dark grabbing a Chaos Angel is amazing because it gets the banish. So, and then I feel like there's just a lot of ash going around, so this always is kind of live. But yeah, play 2 of those. I like them. 1 SP. Just a really good card in general. It doesn't have a lot of synergy because it's not like I'm summoning a lot from the extra deck, and the Link 1 is unfortunately unusable as a Link material, so it's not like I can just make this, summon something else off of it, and make SP. So it's not like I'm going into it a lot, but it's just a good card.
It's nice to have.
Exactly. It's a good option. 1 Underworld Goddess. The deck struggles against big, unaffected things. So if you have something that is unaffected by card effects, this is kind of my only way to out it. I can't really run over anything. I have no way to make my monsters stronger than 3K. So I need this, or I need the Kaijus to out big bodies that are unaffected. So this is the other option in case you need it.
Fair enough.
1 Exciton.
Good card.
He's just probably the best rank 4 you can make. He can blow up the field twice in 1 turn, and it's a quick effect, so it's not bad. So just play it for the option.
Yep.
Probably the Xyz monster I made the most was Big Eye.
Really?
Steals games. Taking opponent's monster permanently is huge. If you normal or if you special Fenrir, usually it kind of baits out their imperms or their Desiree, and then if you have a way to bait out the rest of their interactions, you get another 7 on board, whether it be a border or the Rise Heart, because I'm always drawing them. You make Big Eye and you steal something. And it has definitely stolen games for me. I have taken people's boss monsters and just beat them down with it, and it was amazing. So Big Eye, huge fan, love it. I would recommend it for everyone.
Very cool.
1 Flare Metal. He just steals games. You already do a lot of burn damage anyway, and if your opponent's really low, you make this and pass.
I'd say do something.
They need to out this. It puts pressure on them. Usually it just soaks up the imperms, but it forces them to use it on that. Otherwise, they're just going to lose to it. So it's a great option for that reason. And then in time, it also just steals games as well.
Fair enough.
1 Zeus. I think I only made it once, but it's also just a really good option. Just non-target sending the field off is great. So why not play it? I do play some Xyz monsters, so it comes up.
Yep.
2 Typhon.
The panic button.
I did like playing 2. It did absolutely come up. Desiree, Detonator. This is kind of your way to out them. So it's just like I'm kind of done extending, and I still got 1 monster. Let's just go into Typhon and do the thing and hope that they don't game me next turn. So this is just your backup plan. Really good backup plan, though.
It's the new Baguska.
Yes, it is really good. And that played 2 Synchros, 1 Chaos Angel. You can hard make it with Mad Love and a Bestial. It doesn't come up too often that way, but I have stolen people's Lacrima, the Crimson Tier, and then made it with that, so it's a perfect Chaos Angel, and it's basically immortal for all purposes. And then I played 1 of these just because I have free space, and the idea behind it was if I don't draw a good hand or I don't have a way to out a Detonator, I can just special summon Fenrir, normal summon 1 of the ghosts, and then synchro summon this, and this kind of helps in that situation where it's harder for them to out it. They can't just pop it with the Detonator, they have to attack over it. He also has the dual drive effect that makes them lose attack and you gang attack, so it makes it a little harder for them. In theory, it's really good, but I never actually made it, so, but theoretically, it's a good card.
Do you think you replace it with anything or nah?
If I go to another regional, I'd probably replace this with a Detonator and start playing the
Metaltronus?
The Metaltronus, just because it's such a good card. And then on top of that, like, thinking about it, Metaltronus, you can also just summon this, and then it's a link, you can use it to link off and go into SP, and then you can actually get the good effect. So whether or not you're banishing the Detonator or summoning this to keep climbing and just negating the Detonator, I think Metaltronus is just too good not to play, especially where everyone's playing that deck now.
For sure.
So I'd probably cut that for the Detonator and then start playing Metaltronus.
Fair enough.
But in the side deck, 3 Lancia. Malice is a really hard matchup.
It's the format tax right now. These have to go in your side.
I definitely just lose to non-target banish. I can't dodge it, and if I can't get another name on board, I just lose. So I feel like you just gotta kind of play Lancias to protect yourself. And interesting enough, I can small world into it through several different monsters, so it's actually very easy for me to small world into it.
Very cool. Searchable Lancia. Not bad.
That's actually one of the other reasons why I like
Double Jawlong.
I found this out. I can use this as the middle bridge because
it
it's
is a fairy.
Yeah. So I found that out the hard way. Somebody let me take it back, and I just revealed the Ash, then revealed this, and then got Lancia. So that's another reason why I like playing the one of this as well, because it helps you bridge.
Fair enough.
3 Perulia. I didn't play full Ross because I'm broke. I can't afford it. No, I'm just joking. I think this covers the Malice and this covers the Ryziel, and that's all I really care about. Full Ross is definitely better in other matchups, and it's definitely better against the Malice, but I think I got enough Malice hate already that I don't need to just keep cramming more in. And then if you just full Ross them on Ryziel, you only really get a 1-for-1 sometimes anyway, so it's not really always worth it.
Fair enough.
3D barrier.
Just into basically everything.
Yeah, kind of cutting into everything. It's really just for the Ryziel matchup. Once they get going, it's really hard to come back from that. So if they pick your board apart and they go full board on you, it's really hard for my deck to bounce back. So this is just kind of a backup plan. Hopefully you see it.
Fair enough.
2 Soul Drain. Somebody pointed out to me that it works on the banished monsters, not just the ones in the grave, and that's why people were clamoring to get them. So I threw in 2. I had room, and I thought, once again, Malice is a hard matchup for me, so if I can shut them down, I don't do anything with my grave, so I don't mind, and if I can shut them down, amazing.
Fair enough.
2 evenly matched. Just wanted to play some board breakers. My deck doesn't do a lot going second, so just something to clear the board. In retrospect, probably will cut these maybe for lightning storms or maybe even Virus, just because people are siding in Lancias, and I did notice a couple people sided in Lancia against me, and I didn't know why. But they basically just said, I don't know what to side against your deck because I don't know your deck, but I noticed you're playing Bystials, so I figured Lancia would help me, but Lancia would also shut these down, so probably not a good idea to keep siding these in.
Fair enough.
Probably the best one of in my side deck. It shuts down Fiendsmith. It also makes Ryziel really hard to play because all of them are Pyro and Thunder, so it's really hard to climb into an Exceeds unless you already have one of each name out, and then in that case you can't make the other one. The only thing you do have to worry about though is the Exciton Knight. Obviously Exciton Knight will get rid of that, but if you play it smart and they go into Fiendsmith first, they're already locked into Fiends if they got the Lurry on board. So this is super huge. This actually won me at least 3 games that I can think of, so really good card.
Fair enough.
Also, obviously, goes without saying, but really good against Malice too. They're all suffers. And then one Harpy's Feather Duster, just another board breaker card. I just feel like if you're going second anyway, they already got a full board established. They probably already have Cross and a couple set cards. A lot of people are siding in Solemns now, so Solemn Strikes are kind of flying around everywhere. So this is nice. I liked it, and it did come up.
Surprised you're not playing Thrust. You got so many one of normal spells, normal traps. Did you think about playing it?
I used to main deck Thrust, but there were so many times where I would go first and I just wouldn't get hand trapped, and it's just a dead card. And in this deck, you can't really afford to have dead cards in your hand, especially spells or traps.
Gotcha.
That's why I didn't really play any imperms either, just because they're dead. On some occasions where I really need an attribute instead, so I try to play hand traps over any interruptions like that.
If you got a dead card, it might as well have an attribute.
Yeah, I would rather have a dead card that's an earth or fire or dark that I can reveal to activate the other effects.
No, that makes perfect sense.
But yeah, it was a really fun regionals. I do feel like I definitely got kind of lucky there. Some of the matchups, I just had a really good opening hand, and it just worked out for me. So I had a lot of fun. Didn't play any Malus. Did play 4 Ryziel, 3 Ryziel Fiendsmith, and 1 Ryziel Mitsurugi. That deck is amazing. And then some other also really good, but more leaning towards rogue decks. But it was really fun. It was
Fair
a really
enough,
fun
yeah.
time. I enjoyed it. I'll probably go to the next regional that's close to home.
Gotcha. Any shout-outs?
Shout out to Highlander in Blaine. It is the OTS that I go to. And shout out to Jeff Wu. He's taught me a lot about the game since I came back. He's a really smart guy. He's a judge, and he knows the game inside and out. And he has helped me a lot. And he's always there for me when I got questions. So shout out to you, Jeff.
All right. Well, hope you guys did enjoy. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, all that stuff. I'll catch y'all in the next one. Good luck on your next regional.